It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Full Court Press. Jason Walker, Eric Frandsen, here with you as always. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, 1069thefan.com, 1069 The Fan mobile app. And tell you what, we don't ever go into like the day thinking we want to talk more conference realignment. You know? I don't walk into Eric's office and be like, you know, I really want to talk conference realignment today, Eric. That's like my favorite thing ever. Like, can we please talk more conference realignment?
Because we haven't done enough.
I don't think we talk about it enough on this show. Like, I'm kind of sick of talking about it. I don't know, Eric, I don't know if you share my feelings or not, but it keeps happening. More rumors come out by the day. It's like someone's deliberately drip feeding this to us, literally day by day. Because you keep getting reports, Pac-12 media deal type stuff, coming out yesterday. Today, you just heard of those of you listening at the top of the hour, Big Ten. We talked about skepticism over them expanding beyond 16 teams, but the Big Ten is looking at actually doing that. And, yeah, they may add Oregon and Washington and maybe Cal Stanford at the same time, who are kind of two wild cards. Nobody ever really talked about them, but maybe they go to the Big Ten. And they probably fit in pretty well, I think, actually.
If the Big Ten goes to 20, then does the SEC start to pick off some schools out of the ACC?
Probably Clemson
to enhance their
State.
portfolio.
I would think Clemson, Florida State might try to go to the SEC.
Yeah.
But then the Big 12 might add, Arizona State, and Utah if Utah will answer its phone.
Which at this point they'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, which reports are that they're not. That's an actual headline somebody had to write. Utah not answering its phone.
So if that happens, if all this crap hits the fan, it's Washington State and Oregon State sitting there like, Gloria Nevarez.
Yeah.
May we introduce you to our campus and our community?
Yeah, like when we're talking about, if it's Cal, Stanford, Arizona State, Utah, Washington, Oregon State, that's, a group of teams that can throw its weight around a little bit and bully the Mountain West into stealing some of their schools. Yeah, if it's just Oregon State, Washington State, and maybe Arizona State if they get left behind, yeah, they don't got nothing. They join the Mountain West at that point.
Right. There is no Pac-12.
So, and that's the ideal scenario that we've all been kind of hoping for around here is like, can the Mountain West absorb the remnants of the Pac-12 or do some weird merger? Like, I don't know, the Pac-12 just may not want to give up the ghost completely after existing for more than a century.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If they absorb those schools.
Mountain West absorbs
Oregon State, Washington State, Arizona State. If they absorb those schools and the Pac-12 completely dissolves, is the Mountain West now an automatic qualifier?
I don't think they would be. I think they just say, all right, Power 4. Well, they just start saying power conferences. I don't know. This whole using numbers and attaching them to conferences.
Well, some call them, autonomous 5, or they call them automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
There's different terms people use. But does the Mountain West, do they become a little bit more in that stratosphere, or are they still a notch below?
They'd get closer, but I think people would consider the Big 12 better. And the Big 12 is, well, maybe the ACC. The ACC's, living on a prayer now that, Clemson stays.
Well, clearly Big 10, Big 12, SEC, ACC, those are still your automatic qualifiers, your power conferences. But
I think it's largely going to stay that way. I don't see how the Mountain West ascends to that level. In absorbing those potentially Pac-12 remnants, they do get better. They would be more respected. But we're already moving toward
Oregon State's a top 25 football program.
Yeah.
They just are just opening up a big renovation to their football stadium.
Yeah, we're moving toward SEC Big Ten dominance, with the Big 12 definitely a step below. ACC similar level to the Big 12. I'm not going to argue which one's better. I don't really care. So, if the Mountain West were to make that kind of move like 10 years ago, it probably would jump into the realm of automatic qualifier, because it would have been on the level of some of these, the lower end of the Power 5. But the fact that we're just shifting so far toward like one or two, maybe three conferences, sure, it'll be considered, I guess, the fifth best conference. It would inherit that fifth best spot, but considering we're just all condensing toward fewer dominant conferences, the goalposts are moving, so to speak.
Yeah, no, that's true. But so the Mountain West, if they were to absorb, maybe it's just Washington State, Oregon State. I'm not sure that Arizona State gets left out.
Yeah,
Arizona goes to the Big 12.
You'd only get one of the Arizona schools if they somehow get left out of a move of Utah, Arizona State moving to the Big 12. If one of them gets left behind, it'd probably be Arizona State or Utah on its own stupidity if they keep doing this whole hard-to-get thing. You'd only get one of them if they get left behind in this theoretical scenario.
Right. And there's a good chance that they don't. But so let's say though that they get three schools out of the Pac-12. Let's assume they get three. So the Mountain West goes to 15 football playing schools. Do you try to get to 16? Do you try to get SMU to jump ship and come over? Do you get Memphis? Do you start to make a play at some of the AAC schools and say, look, we have a better deal now. We've got better institutions. We have better programs. Leave, because you elevated some schools from lower divisions, or not lower divisions, but lower conferences to kind of fill your gaps. We got some Power 5 schools to come in and join us. So we're a healthier, bigger conference. Why don't you leave that behind and come join us?
Yeah, you'd probably be able to get one of those teams to jump over, because it'd be the next best thing for them. Because,
Mountain West is closer status of being an automatic qualifier than the AAC is.
Yeah, because like Memphis, they would want to go into the Big 12, but if they're not one of the ones that, makes one of the spots, if it ends up being, Pac-12 teams, Memphis would have nowhere to go. They'd be stuck in the AAC, which would be definitively worse than the Mountain West, in this scenario. And SMU, kind of the same thing. It's just like you're stuck in a conference. There's no room up to get into one of these power conferences, so make the next best option. And so you could get one to come over. Maybe at that point you convince Gonzaga to come in and you even it out at 16 football, 16 basketball.
That sounds juicy.
Yeah, and it becomes, a pretty darn good conference.
Gloria Navarez knows those people very well.
I know, it's like that. It's the dream scenario. I wrote up my article. I ended my article with, all right, here's the dream scenario. Pray that this is what happens. And you just need more dominoes to fall. And if the Big Ten goes, 4 schools from the Pac-12, then suddenly that becomes so much more likely. If it's just Oregon and Washington, that's not enough for the Mountain West to, go up.
No, it really needs to be a full dismantling of the Pac-12 for the Mountain West to be able to poach any of those schools legitimately. What is that number, though? If there are 5 existing Pac
think if there's
institutions, is that enough for them to expand and still claim the Pac moniker? Is it 6? Is it 4?
It's around 5 or 6. 4 or fewer, they're completely done. They will just dismantle. If, 5, borderline 6, they can probably manage it, because at that point you just need 4 teams. And you can pull 3 of them from the Mountain West, pull in SMU, maybe Memphis. They have 5 to 6 I think they have about 5 options they could probably get away with. Because you have San Diego State, Colorado State, UNLV, SMU, maybe I don't know what the interest as far as Memphis is going to the Pac-12. But throw them in there. So you say they've got 5 options that maybe they can live with. I'm not going to try and speak for the Pac-12, but that's 5 options maybe they can live with. So you got to cut them underneath that 5 left so they can't build back up to 10, 11, 12. So, and also think who were those 3 or 4 schools left? If it's Oregon State, Washington State, Arizona State, I don't know if they can convince all those teams to just form another conference. Or maybe they can. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just got to kill the Pac-12 dead. Don't give them a chance to maybe get up. That's the best hope for the Mountain West. Have them just be dead in the water. Don't give them a chance to get up. Kick them while they're down. Realignment's brutal business.
It is. There's opportunity. And, I felt like and I'm not going to go too much in this again because you've heard me many times, but I felt like the Mountain West missed an opportunity last year. They had opportunities to expand into Texas and to bolster their position, and they missed an opportunity. Instead, they just circled the wagons. And maybe that's still okay.
They circled the wagon with teams that didn't want to actually circle the wagons.
They didn't get poached, so they were able to hold together. But they missed an opportunity to take advantage of chaos, and they didn't.
Yeah, and maybe that'll end up being the death of the Mountain West. But anyway, moving on from conference realignment. Wanted to talk about local stuff. So when I was naming yesterday's episode, I was like, did we actually talk about local sports today? We did top 25 Aggies. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But in, local sports this week, well, for one, the Ray Guy watch list came out today, along with the Lou Groza Awards. So today's Kickers Day, I guess. Utah State didn't have anyone on the Lou Groza watch list. I did not expect them to because nobody on the outside knows who Utah State's starting kicker is. So you're not going to name him to the watch list.
Yeah, it's still a little bit up in the air. I mean, it's probably going to be Elliot Nimrod, but...
Yeah, I've gone back and forth. That's just how it is. I keep going back and forth on who I think's going to do it. William Testa, Elliot Nimrod. But the thing is, Lou Groza and Ray Guy watch lists are basically who are the returning starting kickers and punters. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yes.
Stephen Kotsanlee made the Ray Guy watch list. It's his second year in a row at least. I don't know if he made the 2021 watch list. I don't think he did, but I couldn't find the 2021 watch list. I found the 2022 one, couldn't find it for 2021. And he was a returning punter in 2021. But there wasn't any article from Utah State about him, which, of course, they would have done because that's what these watch lists are for, so that 70 universities can write a little puff piece.
Yeah, that's right.
But, Kotsanlee was probably one of the locks I kind of had for potential watch lists. Multi-year starter at punter, above average in, basically all the stats. He's got some weaknesses. He has a few too many touchbacks. He's not elite in yards per punt, but he's good. And considering they put 70 players on these lists, and he's in the top 40 as far as punters, well, of course he's going to make it.
Yeah.
So he'll continue to be a good punter. I don't know if he'll sniff the actual award.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tough. There's some real tough competition when you look at some of the guys that are on that list.
There's some tough competition in this conference.
Yes, very true. Some of the best punters in America are in this conference. But Kotsanlee can be a weapon, though. I mean, he continues to improve, and he punts we've had conversations with him. He approaches it kind of like a golfer. There's a different club that you pull out based on where you are on the hole, right? Are you in the green? Are you in the rough? Where are you at? How far are you from the hole? Do you need a spin on it so it rolls back? So there's different things that's Kotsanlee's approach to punting, and it'll be interesting to see for those who don't know our list, where he ends up on our top 25 because he's not been mentioned yet.
Yeah, he's on it. Spoiler alert, he is on the list somewhere. I forget where, actually. It's exactly where. I think I have an idea, but Eric's cheating. He's got the list in front of him.
Yeah, I can cheat. He is on the list.
Yeah, I know he's on the list. I had to find a picture of him. Yeah, he's shown steady improvement. Maybe we shouldn't talk about him too much since he's on.
Save it for when we
save it for
reveal.
a week or so. But yeah, he's been a steady improver, and yeah, if he works on those touchbacks, which is not always his fault, because you got to work with the gunners, and that can be a complex process and breakdown, even if it's nobody's fault, or sometimes you just mess up. So we'll see how he continues to improve. Because he's improved like every year.
Yeah.
Since 2020, where I think was his first appearances.
I mean, he should be on the list just because of his mustache. It's pretty sweet.
There you go. Should be on some other lists, too, because of that mustache.
By the way, 9315 texting into the Full Court Press text line. I hope the Mountain West, with a new commissioner, that they are calling every PAC school to say, come to our conference, be on the offensive. P.S. Don't everyone down to the janitor get on college watch lists.
Yeah, basically. Everyone gets on watch lists. Yeah.
Did you play last year? Okay, you're going to be on the watch list for the next year.
Basically, I've got the whole list of watch lists in my notes. Like, there's an Aggie for almost every one of them that might make it. It's a bit iffy because when you don't have a lot of main returners, they don't make the list. So
yeah,
Aggie's a little smaller number than normal on watch list, but they'll get a few.
Yeah, it's okay.
But anyway, got a lot going on in the show. We're actually going to take a bit of an early break. When we come back, we're going to have we were talking about the top 25 Aggies moments ago. We're going to have the next person revealed, number 18, I believe, on our list of top 25 Aggies. We'll have that coming up next. We also have an interview that we did with new Logan football head coach, Carson Mund, kicking off our high school football coverage and high school previews, which will have interviews and written content on CashValleyDaily.com. It's all starting on today's show. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll be back after this on the Full Court Press.
Hello, I'm Daryl, the guy who started Daryl's Appliance back in the 1970s. A lot has changed in 50 years, but not the great people of Cache Valley. We love our customers, and we thank you for keeping us in business.
Hello, I'm Daryl's son Jeff. We have 5 factory-trained technicians, which means that we will have your appliances performing at their best. Our parts department has most of the parts that our techs need to repair your appliance on the first visit. Daryl's Appliance, open till 6 weekdays and until 5 on Saturdays.
Advanced Fireplace and Stove wants to thank you for voting them 3 years running the gold medal winners in the Best of Northern Utah contest. With over 35 display models in their showroom, their goal is to make the process of making your home comfortable and cozy an easy experience. With premier brands like Napoleon and Dimplex, they have something for every style, every home, every budget. Building or renovating, they've got you covered. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic and Hearing Aid Center are conveniently located at 2 locations, North Logan inside the new Three Peaks Medical Plaza and Providence on Gateway Drive. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette, along with the entire staff, have over 75 years of combined medical experience, guaranteeing your family the very best patient care. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho and accepts most insurance products, including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, North Logan and Providence.
For more than a century, couples have shopped at S.C. Needham Jewelers. Known for a large selection of beautiful diamonds, we now have both natural and lab-grown diamonds. You're sure to find a diamond engagement ring that will fit your budget. The possibilities today are endless as you select the perfect ring. Show her you'll cherish her forever with a diamond either natural or lab-grown from the store where Utah gets engaged. S.C. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Preston Golf and Country Club is now taking entries for the Preston City Amateur on August 4th and 5th. You may pick your tee time on Friday. Saturday, you will be paired within your flight by score, with best scores going out last. The entry fee for the event, $76, not including cart. There will be hole prizes on every hole both days of the event. To register, please contact the Pro Shop. Schedule your Friday tee time. Call now to get your preferred tee time. Call 208-852-2408.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wees T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Welcome back, Full Court Press. And we've been doing our top 25 Aggies every weekday for about a week and a half now. I think we started a couple Fridays ago. We've made it from 25. We're all the way down to number 18 on the list of top 25 Aggies. We're starting to get to some real impact players. We got guys who are about to step up into big roles. And then we're starting to get some players in the next few slots that are going to be real impact players. So let's start it with number 18. Reveal who that is on the list of top 25 Aggies.
The Cache Valley Media Group's countdown of the top 25 Aggie football players for the year 2023 continues at number 18, Gavin Barthiel. He is a portal transfer to Utah State from Washington State, where he's been the last 2 years, originally out of Lakeland, Florida. A linebacker, Gavin is 6'2", 210 pounds, and a sophomore. To add to the Aggie linebacker core, number 18 on our list is Gavin Barthiel.
Yeah, so he wears number 40, as Eric would say. He's number 18 on the top 25 Aggies. As Al mentioned, transfer out of Washington State. Going to be a key contributor. He's going to be a guy who didn't play a ton. I think 39 snaps, all on special teams with Washington State last year. Redshirted, so he spent 2 years Washington State, redshirted 1 year, played special team snaps his second year. But here he's going to come in, he's going to be a big contributor. Utah State got hit hard with losing A.J. Vongpachong. And Gavin Barthiel going to have to make a big impact this year if the Aggies are going to have a good linebacker core.
I'll be honest, if I went based solely on past production, like in games, snaps, total of tackles, whatever, things like that, Gavin Barthiel shouldn't be on our list. But he is, on my personal ballot, I had him at 17, very close to where he ended up on our total tabulation here. But I put him that high because of what I saw in spring football. And I saw him with good lateral speed, good nose for the ball. He was making big plays in the spring scrimmage and the times that I saw him play and saw him practice. And so I've been impressed with Gavin Barthiel and the type of role he can play for Utah State, which is going to need to call on some, we'll call them unknown players to some degree, to fill in at the linebacker position, which should have been a pretty good strength for USU coming into this year. But with Max Alford kind of got pressed into some service last year. MJ Tafisi certainly will play a large role coming in as he'll be healthy. We've heard a lot about Anthony Switzer, but we haven't seen him in an Aggie uniform yet. So there's still some question marks about who's going to play what positions at the linebacker position. But I put Barthiel at about this position because of what I saw in spring and what I think will be a good transition into a significant role for Utah State's linebacker core.
Yeah, you've got MJ Tafisi. He's obviously nailed down one of those linebacker spots, going to be a tackling machine. Actually bulked up over the offseason, so he's going to be playing a key role. But, yeah, the Aggies, they need somebody else. You mentioned, like, unknowns, Alford. I'm suddenly forgetting the guy they brought in from BYU.
Logan Peely.
Yeah, Logan Peely. And I think there's maybe even another one I'm forgetting. But a lot of young, fairly inexperienced linebackers. But Barthiel certainly comes in with a lot of hype and with a lot of talent. And so that's why he's able to make it so high on this list, because he definitely has that. And he did show out in spring ball. So he's a guy that should be kind of at the top to maybe be that second starter or at least a consistent player at linebacker, and you finally have a chance to break out and get playing time, which is probably a lot of why he transferred here to Utah State, is he was going to get that opportunity. I think initially Blake Anderson, when he was talking about Barthiel, thought, maybe he doesn't have to play right away. He might sit a little bit. And then Vongpachong transferred, and all that else happened. So Barthiel probably get an earlier start to his contributions to Utah State, but I think he can be ready for it.
Yeah, look, this was a 3-star recruit out of Florida. Regarded as was a top 50 linebacker in the country when he was initially recruited, and didn't get to see a lot of action at Washington State, but I think based on need and availability, I think he's going to have an opportunity to play a significant role for USU this fall. And I liked what I saw in the spring. I hope that continues to translate in what we see this fall.
Yeah, and I think the fact you're talking about him being inexperienced on the field, he's had 2 seasons to develop. And, that's a lot of times that's what a program like Utah State has. A guy sits around not playing for 2 years, and then he makes the big jump.
You're right. Studying film, hitting the weight room, being in practices, getting reps, and then it's his time.
Yeah, and so I think that's where he has an advantage in terms of number of years experience over several of his, fellow Aggies. Even some who were on the team last year. I think Max Alford was a freshman like a true freshman, I think, or maybe he was a redshirt freshman. I can't remember. But,
bottom line, he was young.
Yeah, bottom line, young. Gavin Barthiel, not as young as some of these other guys. So I think Barthiel can definitely make an impact this season. Maybe one of the leaders in tackles if he is one of those starting linebackers.
Yeah, 6 foot, 225 pounds, good size for an inside linebacker. And it'll be interesting to see if he stays at that inside linebacker position or if he plays on the outside or where they use him. But Gavin Barthiel, number 18 on our list, wears number 40, inside linebacker for Utah State.
All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll hear from Logan football head coach Carson Mund. Stay tuned.
Girls, us guys are always trying to score some brownie points, but we need all the help we can get. So dropping some subtle hints is helpful, such as your favorite food is Italian, you love the color green, and you want the ring from Jarek's Fine Jewelry, the place with the bright green cars on 930 North Main Street. Okay, so it might not be so subtle, but that's okay. Remember, we need the help. Make it special, make it Jarek's. Now remember, just tell them it's the place with the bright green cars.
Vacations are just around the corner, as is the hot weather. This is Dustin with Valvoline and Snow Oil Change in Logan. Get your vehicle's oil change before you head out on that epic vacation. While you're here, we can recharge your AC so you're not melting in a hot car. Stay in your car while our trained pros service your vehicle. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, 695 North Main in Logan, across from Angie's. Also, we're so busy, we need some more help. Stop in and apply to work with us today. We offer bonuses and benefits after 90 days.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
The Cache Valley Media Group is looking for someone who can shoot and edit video content for clients, events, and commercials for high school sports. Having a good understanding of DaVinci Resolve and OBS is a plus, but training will be provided. You'd also need to understand the demands of live streaming on YouTube and work with live broadcast teams. The job offers up to 30 hours a week, and we're offering $18 an hour. Share your resume with us at CacheValleyMediaGroup.com/employment. That's CacheValleyMediaGroup.com/employment.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
It's football season, and Region 11 football is upon us as well.
And we got really excited.
I know it is exciting. We've got college football's not that far away, but way before that, it's high school football. That starts a lot earlier. And so we're previewing what's going on with the local high school teams. It's been a proud tradition of our stations to do the play-by-play for Region 11 schools, and have been doing that for a very long time. Logan High, the longest, on KVNU. That tradition started late 30s, 1930s.
Yeah, that dates back to when my grandpa was born.
It's been a long, long time of KVNU carrying Logan High football, basketball,
and it will continue again this year. And Jason Walker has assumed the reins of the play-by-play voice for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it's a bit overwhelming. It's like people say, "Oh, Al Lewis is going to keep doing Logan." Like, no, I'm doing it now. It's like, yeah, I got to take over for Al Lewis, Hall of Fame broadcaster.
No small shoes to fill.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but to shed more light on who Logan High is this year and what their what their plans are, what their goals are, and a little bit more about their personality. We've got their new head coach, and it's always fun talking to new head coaches when they arrive on the scene. Carson Mund is the new head coach for the Logan High Grizzlies. Joining us here in studio, Carson and Coach Mund.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Ready for any questions you guys got for me. So,
all right. So, what record will you have next season? Let's start with that.
The goal is to win every game.
There we go. Good answer.
Good start.
There we go. You're absolutely nailing this interview so far. I guess just kind of first, talk about taking over, the Logan program. Obviously, long tradition of Logan football. Is basically as long as you've had football, Logan football has been around. Let's talk about taking over, for Logan High School.
Yeah, Logan High. This is over 100 years of football has been played at Logan High, which is incredible. And to take over such a program with such great tradition is a great opportunity for me to hopefully fill those shoes and continue that tradition. So it's been great so far. Sport's been awesome. Kids have been awesome. And so just looking forward to next week and getting the season kicked off.
So you you talk about knowing the tradition. I mean, Logan High has been playing football for over 100 years. And I'm not saying you're that old, that you don't know that tradition, but you know that tradition a little bit, not just from being in the state, but you were an assistant at Logan High at one point. You grew up just down the road. Your school that you played for, you faced Logan before, so you've got personal connections to Logan High.
Yeah, for sure. And I've reached out to Coach Christensen and Coach Favero and talked to them. The biggest thing I think is trying to get those guys back, right, and get the alumni back and try to get the excitement around Logan High football again. And I think the way you do that is getting the guys that have put on the crimson and gold and getting them back into the program in any way, shape, or form we can. So other than that, I mean, great tradition. Coach Favero, I mean, I had breakfast with him this morning. 5 state titles, Perry Christensen with 2. It's just there's a lot of wisdom that you can learn from previous Logan High football and the coaches that had the seat I have now. So
you grew up in Brigham City. You played at Box Elder.
Yep.
And so you're very familiar with the region here.
Yeah.
And then the history of Logan High as well. And you were on the Logan High staff at one point before?
Yeah, so I was here with Coach Anderson in 16-17. Just took over when, Coach Fair decided to retire and took over and struggled, as you guys know, and, trying to, do things differently in the right way and continue to striving to, develop these kids into not only great men but great athletes. So
you kind of touched on maybe a couple things as far as, rebuilding the program, maybe getting guys back in, and obviously you mentioned the program struggles. So I guess what's the key to, kind of ending that struggle where Logan's not been like, it's not like they're a dumpster fire. Usually they're around 500.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously that's kind of short of the goal that you're usually trying to get to.
Yeah, I mean, every year the goal is to compete for a region title, right? And then beyond that, I mean, things go in your favor, things don't. But the biggest thing is the Little League program. I mean, that's where everything starts, right? I mean, that's your feeder program. That's really the foundation of what you're going to get when, those kids grow up and become 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. And so like right now, I think that's the main focus for me in my short stint so far at Logan is to how can we best build that Little League program. Right now, I mean, we lost 35 8th graders last year in the Little League program, and so far we've replaced and added some to the program. And so, you sit at 90 kids in the whole program. Some things have got to improve there because you go couple miles south, couple miles north, and you're looking at 150, 200 kids in a Little League program. So right there is the root that we got to fix, the root problem we got to fix before we start seeing huge achievements again from Logan High School, in my opinion.
That was actually something that I was going to ask as well. Is that I understand that some in the last few years here, I don't know how far back has been going on, but there have been times where Logan High has not been able to play or has chosen not to play its freshman team or its junior varsity games just because they're just
pure numbers, right?
Numbers, and like if there's just not an availability and holding them over to play for the varsity games as well. That's a challenge. I don't know that a lot of people really recognize. That's just tough, and that's something that's got to start at a much younger level.
For sure. And last year they ended the season with just 2 teams, and about 50 or so kids ended playing football for Logan High School last year, right? I mean, 50 kids in a whole program. That's a lot of high school football is numbers game, right? And so right now we have 102 kids on our roster. So I think the excitement is getting kids out. And I think the coaches I've hired and the staff I've kind of built is a huge proponent of that, of motivating kids to come out and be a part of something bigger than yourself. Because that's one thing I think gets lost in the shuffle is football isn't just an individual game like some other sports, right? Football is a very much a team game where you need 11 people to play, and everybody's got to do their 1/11 to be successful. It's not give the ball to this guy, or this guy's going to hit a home run, or this kid's going to hit a hole in one. It's different. So
I guess kind of the tough question is, so obviously you're looking for long-term solutions, which very much seems like the right thing to do, but you also have to play football this season.
Right.
So I guess what challenge does that present where you're trying to fix things long-term, but you do got to prep the team for a season and obviously try and fulfill some of the goals while also still trying to fix some of the underlying problems to rebuild the program.
Right, and that's one thing about high school football is coaches have to look in the now and the later, right? I mean, you're not going out and recruiting kids and handpicking the kids you want to be a part of your team. You're going to take every single person you can. And so it's the balancing act of, spending time with the Little League and spending time with the varsity kids and the freshman kids. And so one thing, we don't have a freshman coaching staff. All the coaches are coaching every kid, right? And so freshmen are getting coached by the varsity coaches, varsity's getting coached by the varsity coaches, and we're kind of very much intermingling the grades to where we make sure each kid is getting taught the correct thing, getting taught the right technique and developing at the same rate as everybody else. And so that's one thing. The other thing is like getting the Little League kids as much as the high school as you can. So like right now every Little League team in Logan is practicing at the high school, right? And so that's one thing. After practice, go around, shake hands. That's why we do it and have done that to that model, because now it's easier access for the high school coaches to go and hey, take 10 minutes, walk around, introduce yourself, go shake hands, slap some kids on the helmet and get to know their names, because ultimately they're going to stay at Logan and play at Logan because of the coaches, in my opinion. And so I think we've done a good job of that so far.
Again, we're talking to Carson Mund. He's the new head coach for the Logan High Grizzlies, getting ready for their upcoming season. And, Coach, how much time did you have in putting the schedule together for this year, or was it mostly in place before you arrived?
It was already in place by the time I took over. So that was one thing that I didn't have to worry about. I think Coach Argyle did a great job at putting it together, and so there's no. I think we got some challenging games. We got some games that we feel like we have an opportunity to win and compete in, and ultimately the goal is to, like I said at the beginning, is try to win every single game.
Yeah, so I know we spent a lot of time laboring over program building, but I do want to focus on the team.
Yep.
There's some exciting players on this team. I know you lost some talent, Andrew Thornley and some other guys on the defensive side, but there are some, returning stars from last year's team, up-and-comers. Can you tell us about a few of those guys that you're expecting to play big roles this season?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of starts at our quarterback position with Keaton Pond. He's improved so much from last year, and his arm strength has gotten better. He's gotten bigger, faster, stronger. He's done all the right things on the offseason to prepare himself for this upcoming season, and, he's the leader of our football team. We're going to go offensively as he goes. We're going to ask him to do a lot with the football and make right decisions and make the proper reads that need us to be successful. And then defensively, I mean, we got our secondary, pretty much our whole secondary back with, Cooper Red, Brock Brown, Connor Peters, the Lazari twins. I mean, we got a lot of returning guys on the back end of things. And so now it's a lot of the focus has been how are we going to replace, guys like Tyson Mason or Andrew Thornley or, the O-line that was there last year, D-line that was there last year. Those are kind of been a lot of our main focus so far this fall camp.
So I know with Keaton Pond, obviously, you lost a lot of the wide receiver, at least production, Thornley and David Odd.
Yeah.
You are returning, I believe, the tight end, Cooper Red, I believe, right?
Reed Olson.
Oh, Reed Olson, excuse me.
Very similar, don't feel bad. That was, we're good. I've been through it.
Hopefully I don't get it wrong on the broadcast. So Reed Olson, obviously, some returners, but lost a lot of production. Like, who are some of the guys you're looking at as far as to make that step up as, happens every once in a few years?
We're calling on, Cooper Red, who started on defense last year. He's improved a ton in the offseason. Connor Peters, Skylar Jensen, Allen and Ryan Lazari, Reed Olson, or Caleb Thornley, Nate McAllister. There's some guys that that have prepared themselves to step up and fill those shoes. And Coach Llanos, my receiver coach, Francisco Llanos, I mean, he's worked with those guys since I got hired in February. He was one of the first guys I hired, and he's developed those guys at an incredible rate, in my opinion, to where the receiving corps is probably one of the strongest parts of our team.
Coach, as you guys are going to be talking about, this is there's some returners on offense and guys who've been in the system a little bit, opportunities to move forward, a lot more returning experience on the defensive side. But you're more of an offensive guy. You've been an offensive coordinator a couple of different places. You're kind of if I'm not mistaken, going to be the OC for Logan moving forward. But who is your defensive coordinator, and what are you seeing on the just overall how the defense is going to be? Is that going to be one of the strengths of your team this upcoming year?
Yeah, so our defense coordinator is Eric Craig. He's been coaching for a long time. He actually coached me at Box Elder when I was a junior and senior. And then we coached together the year after graduated. And so he's been doing this a long time. He's been on the Logan staff since 2016. But he's done a great job. I think, it needs to be a strong part of our defense. Obviously, I can't, say, hey, this is what's going to happen. We haven't even played a game yet. But I feel like, our secondary, our back-end guys are going to kind of anchor down and allow teams to, struggle offensively to maybe push the ball vertical and do things like that. And we got a great test next Friday when we face a Georgia offered tight end from Pineview. That's going to be a good test for us to see where we're at.
How would you describe generally, kind of the offensive mindset and your defensive mindset, how you like to line up or generally kind of play call plays, or how you like to line up, and just the defensive scheme or offensive scheme?
So offensively, we're going to switch up personnel grouping. So our base personnel grouping is 11 personnel, which is one back, one tight end. And so we're going to kind of stay in that as much as we can and do different things out of it. But we'll get into, a 2 tight end set. We'll get into no tight end set. We'll get into different situations where we feel like we're going to have the best advantage. And that's really where it comes down to is we're going to look at matchups and numbers, right? It's not – I don't think football is rocket science. I don't think, nobody has reinvented a wheel recently, right? In my mind, you're going to put guys in situations to be successful, then it's our job to make sure that, we give them an opportunity to do that. But, football is an easy game. Whoever executes is going to win the game. So.
And defensively, schematically?
Yeah, so we're kind of we're 3-4, right? We run an odd front, but we do things a little differently. We play with 3 high safeties, 2 high safeties. We mix it up. It's going to be different looks than what you see on a weekly basis from other teams, and I think that may be one of our bigger advantages. Is we're not you could say off if you compare it to offense, maybe a wing tee or split back fair, something you just don't see all that often. Right, is kind of the defense that we have in place right now.
So, obviously, the odds are kind of against you maybe year one, going for the region championship. But just imagine the scenario, if you get to the end of the year, you've won the region championship. Like, what do you think would have happened along the season? Like, what would be your...
The number one thing is staying healthy, right? We got to stay healthy, and it's hard to do that, right? If we stay healthy, I think we got a good shot. But obviously things have to fall in our favor. I mean, we'll have to dominate the turnover battle every week. We want to control time of possession. We want to do things to where we have the ball in our hands as much as possible, and the other team doesn't. If we can do that, we're going to be, I feel like, right there competing for that region title.
What do you see when you look at this region? When you look at the schools that are here, you're familiar with who they are.
Yeah.
You were here in the mix a little bit. You were removed. Now you're coming back. Like, what do you see when you look at Region 11, the type of teams, coaches, and talent that exists here in Northern Utah?
I see just a competitive region that has some great teams in it. I mean, you work from north to south in the valley. You're looking at, Skyview, Green Canyon, very much like a dominant. Like Skyview is one of the top programs in 4A, and then you get to like Ridgeline and Mountain Crest, tough. Like Mountain Crest, like they're going to be tough, right? And tough kids that spend a lot of time in the weight room and are going to, be super physical. And then you get the same thing down at Bear River. Just you get competitive kids. That's the biggest thing is kids want to compete, and kids compete their butts off.
It's kind of looking at the non-region schedule. I know you didn't put it together, but with non-region, there's some philosophies. One of the more popular ones, just play the hardest teams like you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
Well, maybe still having at least some chance to win, to kind of cut your teeth and then, prepare yourself for region play. Do you feel like this non-region schedule will kind of do that for you?
I think we get a good mix. I mean, Pineview is going to be a good challenge for us, and then we welcome the North Sanpete up to week 2, and I mean that's a game we should compete in, and you got to balance it. In my opinion, you want to play some tough teams, and I think we have that with other than Pineview didn't go like they went 0-10 last year, but I mean they're going to be they're going to be good this year, right? And so that's not like a game we can just show up to and feel like we're just because of what they did last year, right? And then you got North Sanpete coming in, and then we go to Timpanogos, whose quarterback is a very talented kid, has several offers, and so I think we have a really good balance of challenging and games we should compete and do well in our preseason, and then hopefully that can get us ready for region play.
Well, Coach, best of luck. It's exciting to have football around again at this time of year and stepping into a new challenge. This isn't your first gig as a head coach. We didn't mention you've been a head coach before.
Yeah.
And coming into this, using that experience you had at a higher classification, bringing it to Logan High, and experience on the Logan High staff, so you know the lay of the land, you know the community, what's going on with the Logan High history. So excited to see the new era of Logan High football under Coach Mund.
Yep, thank you.
So, again, best of luck. Those games will be so Logan High games are on KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, and some guy just calling the play-by-play.
Some weirdo. I don't know why you guys hired him.
I don't know. Some schlub. Yeah. So, but, again, Coach, thanks for coming down and spending some time with us.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you have a backup generator, or have you explored the options of adding one to your home? Generac backup generators will keep your home or business safe and cool during the summer months if the power goes out. Do you already have a system? Golden Spike Electric can service it for you. If you don't have one, Golden Spike Electric can find the right model for your needs. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
Make it 3 years in a row. Advanced Heating and AC is honored to be named gold medalist for the best of Northern Utah in the AC HVAC category. They thank you for your support and vote of confidence in their company. You have many choices when it comes to your home's heating and air conditioning system. Make sure you choose the gold medal winning company, Advanced Heating and AC. Call 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Are you looking for a high-quality beauty service at an affordable price? Look no further than New Horizons Beauty College. That's right. You can get the same quality service of traditional salons at a lower price, all while supporting the education of our future beauty professionals. So whether you're in need of a new haircut, hair color, or any other beauty service, come to New Horizons Beauty College and let our students work their magic on you. Call 435-753-9779 to schedule an appointment. Walk-ins welcome. New Horizons Beauty College. Create your own individuality.
It's summertime, which means it's vacation time. There's no better way to vacation than with your own RV. Bull Moose RV in North Logan has a massive selection of gently used RVs in stock. Choose from bumper pulls, fifth wheels, and motorhomes in a selection that'll make you dream of the outdoors. Don't forget, Bull Moose RV has an amazing service department. And if you're looking to sell your RV, they take consignments. Bull Moose RV, 1850 North, 600 West. Online at bullmooseRV.com.
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
If you're a do-it-yourself kind of guy, then your locally owned Napa Auto Parts store is a good place to know. Find the parts, find the oil you need. Keep your car and equipment running its best. 5 locations locally owned from Preston to Providence. So, Napa Auto Parts. So, I have one text coming through I want to get to. I think it was 9315. I think he was just asking he's asking if his fall camp started off for USU football, and if so, any buzz from coaches about players. The answer is that it's not started yet. It starts Friday. Tomorrow is Utah State Media Days, their own team media days. They did Mountain West Media Days a week or so back. They do their annual Utah State Media Days. That's tomorrow. Me, Eric, Al Lewis, we're all going to be there. We'll be interviewing close to a dozen players and coaches.
Yep.
So we'll have all that sound for you tomorrow, all the storylines. I'll be writing up something about it. Might take me the whole weekend to sort through every single interview, but, we'll have all that coverage Thursday, Friday, might even bleed into Monday. We'll see how all that goes. So we just wait one more day. We'll have all the fall camp buzz going for Utah State football.
Unless something substantive happens with conference realignment, tomorrow will be all about Utah State football.
Watch, tomorrow half the Pac-12 will announce they're moving somewhere. And we'll be like...
The Big Ten and Big 12 will jointly announce their moves.
The SEC will absorb the Big Ten.
What do they call that, a panzer move? Like they come in and get them from two different sides?
Pincer move.
Pincer move,
Panzer is a German tank.
Oh.
You can do a pincer move with a panzer.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's what they'll do.
You're on track. What kind of final note, just ending the show? We've been kind of meaning to bring this up on the show for a few days, but apparently conference realignment just won't shut up. So
yeah.
But 5 different Utah Jazz players are going to be on FIBA World Cup rosters. You have Lauri Markkanen, probably the most notable, playing for Finland. Obviously the star of the Jazz. Walker Kessler, another notable one because he's playing for Team USA. So he's the one to root for, USA.
That's right.
You can also root for Kelly Olynyk on Canada. Simone Fontecchio playing for Italy. And then host nation Philippines has Jordan Clarkson, who actually I believe has dual citizenship with the USA and Philippines, but he's going to be playing on the Philippines roster. So,
yeah,
a lot of representation there.
The players are starting to will be reporting for their national teams here soon, because group play begins like the end of August 25th, and so they'll be reporting soon and starting practicing and then start competing before too long. So Lauri Markkanen, he's in a group with Finland. He's considered in Group E. So his team will face Australia, Japan, and Germany. Jordan Clarkson, he is in Group A, and he'll face Dominican Republic, and then Angola and Italy.
So him and Simone Fontecchio are both in the same group.
They'll square off against each other. That'll be exciting. As we said with Walker Kessler with Team USA, they'll be playing Jordan, New Zealand, and Greece. And Kelly Olynyk with Canada, teamed in Group H And he'll face former Jazzman Rudy Gobert with France. Also face Latvia and Lebanon. But also, Group A with Simone Fontecchio with Italy. He'll also face the Philippines, Angola, and Dominican Republic.
So it should be fun. I think USA probably strong. Canada also going to be a pretty strong team. Italy, Finland, I don't know. They might make it out of group play. Philippines, I don't know how good the Philippines is. Obviously, having an NBA player like Clarkson helps.
It helps.
And even with Finland having Markkanen. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think USA, Canada will be the ones to watch out for, at least for former Jazz players, at least as far as team success.
Right.
You want to see and I think all these guys are going to star for their team. Like even Simone Fontecchio, kind of fringe roster guy, he was starring for Italy before he even signed with the Jazz.
That's true.
Or maybe just after he signed with the Jazz. I can't remember the timeline there, but.
And watch for Australia. They're a good, solid team. Dante Exum, Joe Ingles, former Jazz players will be on that roster.
Basically all the English-speaking countries except for England. Shots fired. Freedom, baby. Anyway, thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow. All Utah State football.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Well, hard to believe, but it's been nearly 50 years since Ohio State's Archie Griffin became college football's first and only repeat Heisman winner. Tim Tebow didn't do it, Lamar Jackson, Johnny Manziel, and most recently, this year's #1 overall pick, Bryce Young, fell short. USC's Caleb Williams is the next contender to accomplish the rare honor. Williams has drawn comparisons to Patrick Mahomes, but based on history, securing a second Heisman trophy will be a tall task. Since Griffin repeated in 74 and 75, there have been 11 different players with the opportunity to match that. None have managed to break through. Records are meant to be broken, right? But when you consider history and the Trojans' current roster, Williams will have his work cut out for him. USC lost 3 starting offensive linemen, top receiver Jordan Addison, and running back Travis Dye this offseason. And with the history of the award already not on his side, a second consecutive Heisman may not be in the cards. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.